Hello everyone. We have power system stability as the sixth module of our syllabus of power system analysis. The power system stability is defined as it is the ability to return to normal or stable operating condition after having undergone some sort of disturbances. You know that in our power system there is a chance of lot of disturbances. Disturbances can be small disturbances like uh, load variation which occurs continuously in the system, or large disturbances like short circuit faults in the system. All these disturbances causes instability in the power system. If after having these disturbances, if the system is returning to normal operating condition, then we can say that power system is stable. There are mainly two forms of instability. First one is due to the asynchronous load, the stalling of asynchronous load. It is also called voltage stability or load stability. When there is a large change in load, there will be a large drop in voltage. That type of instability is called voltage instability. And we know that our power system is working in a synchronous manner. That means power system is having a constant frequency. If we want to connect a generator with the grid, it has to satisfy some conditions like the voltage should be equal to that of grid voltage, frequency should be equal, there should be equal same phase shift and same phase sequence as that of grid. So if any of these conditions are lost, we can say that system become unsynchronous or it loses synchronism. This loss of synchronism is called synchronous instability. In our module, we are mainly discussing on synchronous stability. Synchronous stability can be divided into three as steady state stability, transient state stability and dynamic stability. What is a steady state stability? It is the ability to return to normal or stable operating condition under gradual or relatively slow changes in load. If the load change is slow, like normal load variation, then if it is returning to stable operating condition, then we can say that system is steady state stable. And the rate of change of load should be slow when compared with the natural frequency of oscillations of major parts of the system or with the rate of change of flux in the machines. This steady state limit is mainly concerned with upper limit of machine loading. That means how much a machine can be loaded without losing synchronism can be measured by using steady state stability limit. Then transient state stability. It is the ability to return to normal or stable operating condition with minimum possible time under sudden or large changes in the network such as faults, switching of heavy loads, tripping of generating units, etc. Always transient stability is lower than the steady state stability limit, but it has different values depending on the nature, location and magnitude of disturbances. Then another case is dynamic stability. We know that nowadays all the generators are coupled with some voltage regulators. There will be fast acting voltage regulators and slow acting voltage regulators which adjust its voltage. We have seen in load frequency control and automatic voltage regulators. So if system is having an automatic voltage regulator, when there is a change in load, it will adjust automatically or it will come to stable position with minimum possible time. Or For a dynamically stable system, oscillations are underdamped and which is having small magnitude and dies out quickly. So, dynamic stability also correspond to slow changes in load. Like in steady state stability, it corresponds to small variations in load. But the main difference is that dynamic stability is possible by the action of fast acting voltage regulators. Now we can see some dynamics of synchronous machine. We know that main advantage of electrical machine is electrical generators are they are self-regulating. That means with the increasing load demand, the generator will adjust itself to produce more power output. If it is a DC generator, the back EMF will helps the machine to produce self-regulating capacity. If it is a synchronous machine, the rotor angle of the machine will changes according to the load requirement. So kinetic energy of rotor at synchronous machine is given by kinetic energy equal to half j omega sm square into 10 raised to minus 6 megajoule, where j is the rotor moment of inertia and omega sm is synchronous speed in mechanical radians per second. For a synchronous machine, we know that omega sm is the synchronous speed in mechanical radians per second. So it completes one mechanical 360 degree, one complete cycle is represented by omega sm. And in case of electrical degrees, when we are considering electrical radians, rotor speed in electrical radians per second, it will produce or it will complete a cycle when it passes through a pair of poles. And complete cycle of EMF is produced when it passes through a pair of poles. So, rotor speed in electrical radians per second is related to mechanical radians per second as omega s equal to P by 2 into omega sm, where P is the number of poles and P by 2 is the number of pair of poles. So, kinetic energy can be written as kinetic energy equal to half j 2 by P square or into omega s, that is in electrical radians per second, into 10 raised to minus 6 into omega s. So it can be written as half m omega s, where m is j into 2 by P square into omega s into 10 raised to minus 6. M is called moment of inertia in megajoule second per electrical radians. And we know that inertia constant H equal to stored energy or kinetic energy stored in megajoules divided by rating in MVA. If G is the machine rating in MVA, then we can write GH equal to kinetic energy. And it is equal to half m omega s. So m equal to 2gh by omega s. Omega s is 2 pi f. So m equal to gh by pi f or gh by 180 f in electrical degree. Taking g as the base MVA, then m in inertia constant m can be written in per unit as h by pi f dividing by base value of g, pi h by pi f second square electrical radians per electrical radians and h by 180 f in electrical degrees. Now we can see the swing equation of the system, synchronous machine. We have already said that synchronous generators are itself will adjust its power with the load requirement by changing its rotor angle. And we know that synchronous machine is rotating at synchronous speed or the speed same as the stator magnetic field. And there will be a relative position between stator magnetic field and the rotor axis. This angle between stator magnetic field and the rotor axis is called load angle or torque angle. It is denoted as delta. And this angle always depend on the loading of the machine. If larger is the loading, the larger will be the value of delta. So, if it is a constant load, stator magnetic field and the rotor is rotating in same speed. When there is a load added or removed from the shaft, the rotor will accelerate or decelerate with respect to the rotating stator field. It is said that the rotor is swinging with respect to the stator field. So the equation representing the relative motion of rotor with respect to the stator field as a function of time is called swing equation. If Tm represents the shaft torque and Te represents the electromagnetic torque, then we can write accelerating torque Ta equal to Tm minus T. If load is constant, Tm is equal to T. And the accelerating torque is J into acceleration factor, J into d square theta m by dt square. D theta by dt is angular velocity and d square theta by dt square is angular acceleration. J into d square theta by dt square equal to Tm minus T, where theta m is angle in mechanical radians and Tm is mechanical torque, turbine torque, and T is electromagnetic torque. Now we can multiply both sides of the equation with omega Sm. Then J omega Sm into d square theta by dt square into 10 raised to minus 6 equal to torque into omega Sm. Torque into omega S is power. So Pm minus P, where Pm is mechanical power and P is electrical power. And we know that electrical radians equal to number of mechanical radians into number of pair of poles. So we can change this omega Sm to electrical angular velocity omega S by multiplying with pair of poles. So it is J into 2 by P square omega S into 10 raised to minus 6 d square theta E by dt square, where theta is electrical angle equal to Pm minus P. So we can write this term is already we have derived it as m, inertia constant m. M into d square theta by dt square equal to Pm minus P. The angular position theta is measured with respect to stationary reference frame. We know that stator field is rotating at synchronous speed omega s. So if we consider a reference axis, it will make an angle omega st with respect to reference axis, and the angle between stator field and the rotor field is delta, load angle delta. So theta can be represented as omega st plus delta. Omega s is the speed and t is the time. Speed into time gives angular velocity into time gives the angle. So d theta by dt equal to omega s plus d delta by dt, or d square theta by dt square equal to d square delta by dt square. From the equation m d square theta by dt square equal to Pm minus P, we can substitute it as m d square delta by dt square equal to Pm minus P. The value of m is gh by pi f. So gh by pi f into d square delta by dt square equal to Pm minus P, which is called swing equation. If we are considering m in per unit d square delta by dt square equal to Pm minus P in per unit. So swing equation we got it as a second order differential equation, and here the damping term is absent because we have assumed that it is a lossless machine. In actual machine, the singing will damp after a certain time and it comes to stable position. Next classes we can see how this Singh equation can be used for analyzing the steady state stability limit and how can we analyze the transient stability, etc. Thank you.